Sid and Friends in the morning.
77 WABC.
Yes, hello. Oh, we're back. Right here on Our Place to Be. Let's get these microphones wired up here, Kevin Josh.
It must be a sleepy week.
Nah, we've had a few glitches here.
A few glitches.
I'm looking at this tie rod here, whatever the hell you call that, on my microphone here. I can't believe this is here. But anyway, we have the great King David II, as I dubbed him right after that vicious attack by Hamas on Jews in Israel and others, October 7th. And he's been magnificent ever since. He went down to Boca Raton, the sixth borough of the city of New York, for his holiday, Hanukkah, Christmas vacation. And Sid Rosenberg, did you actually have the sit-down of all sit-downs at Mar-a-Lago with all the MAGA people and Trump?
Well, first of all, I want to wish you, Curtis, a very happy New Year. You too, John. And honor today, I was named the Barrett Media 2024 News Talk Host of the Year. That is not a small thing. That's a big deal. There's a million radio hosts out there, and we got that this morning. And, of course, none of that gets done without you, John, and Margot and Chad. Curtis, you're a major part of this morning's show, and Justin Ellick and Lou Ruffino and Nolan Layden, Joe Nolan, the whole crew. So I do want to start there. Yeah, I did have a short conversation with President Trump on Saturday night. If you go to my social media, you'll see a very nice picture of me and Sylvester Stallone. We hung out a little bit on Saturday night, but it was a short conversation. The bad news is, Curtis, it did not involve Mayor Eric Adams. The good news is it did involve my future, my possibilities with the Trump administration. But it was short and sweet, and it was just Saturday night. That's it.
Hold on a second. You mean you were more important, your future in the Trump administration in some capacity, than finding out if he's going to grant Mayor Eric Adams a pardon or not?
It was a handshake. It was a 2-second thing. He looked at my table with Siggy Flicker, Liz Pico, my beautiful wife Danielle, and said, look, it said he's the greatest guy. We're going to talk, blah, blah, blah. The whole thing lasted about 30 seconds. That was it. There were no specifics about the mayor, about his job, my job. So I'm sorry. It was a very busy night. The place was packed.
All right. So, Sid, you don't mind me, John, I'm going to say, stay down there until you find out. John and I will hold down the morning show until you get an answer.
I know. Curtis, I know you'd love that. I know you would. I got to tell you, I just heard Jimmy Flippin give out the weather in New York for today, tomorrow. So I'm actually staying, John and Curtis, in Aventura. It's about 30 minutes south of Boca Raton, in my sister's apartment, and I'm on the terrace right now. She's got an outdoor terrace. She's on the 15th floor. It is 81 degrees and sunny. The whole family, all of us, are about to head to the beach in the next hour or so. So when I heard Jimmy Flippin's weather report, believe me, I considered allowing you guys to fill in for the next couple of weeks.
Now, with the death of Jimmy Carter, what are your recollections, Sid?
You know, it's funny. He was the first president, John and Curtis, that I actually remembered. I remember Squeaky Fromme tried to kill Gerald Ford, but I was less than 10 years old. Carter, I remember. I remember the gas lines in Brooklyn with my dad. Certainly I remember the hostages in Iran, how happy I was when our hockey team beat the Russians, when Ronald Reagan took over in 1980. So I was only about 12 or 13 years old, but I had this huge sense of patriotism, almost what I've got now with President Trump, when Ronald Reagan took over. So, look, he was not a very good president. In fact, in my lifetime, he rivals Biden for the worst of all time. He was not exactly a friend of the Jewish people. But if you want to give Jimmy Carter some credit, I would say post-presidency, Jimmy Carter did a lot of good things for a lot of people. But as a president, he was one of the worst. With that said, God rest his soul. But those couple of years when I was a young teenager were horrible under Jimmy Carter's rule.
Now, Sid, towards the end of his life, obviously he was disabled because of his old age and the physical problems that were happening. But he seemed in the latter part of his life, if you had taken a position against Israel, you could expect Jimmy Carter to be there with you. What do you think happened to him that it seemed like every step of the way in his post-presidency, he was more and more anti-Israel, no matter who was the prime minister?
Well, I think he was like that when he was president, too. I mean, I know we had the sit-down with Sadat and all that, which was a big deal between Israel and Egypt at the time. But if you really followed Jimmy Carter's presidency closely, which you did, Curtis, he was no friend of the Jewish people, bottom line. I'm not going to call him a flat-out anti-Semite, but he was probably close. So, he had to kind of be careful when he was president, not to come off like a complete anti-Semite, but certainly once he was done, he can express his true feelings. So, again, he did a lot of good things for a lot of people post-presidency, but if you're a proud Jew, and like Alan Dershowitz, for example, and Israel and the Jews are your number one concern, then Jimmy Carter was no friend of ours. Again, God rest his soul. He was the president of the United States. Even Donald Trump wrote something very, very nice about him this morning and late last night. I don't want to crap on the guy. He just died. But as a Jewish male in New York City, Jimmy Carter was not a friend of ours.
And then finally, because people need their Sid Super Sports Spectacular fix, are you ready to finally throw Aaron Rodgers under the bus, number 8? Got crushed by the Bills. And the Giants win a game and get out of the run for the number 1 NFL pick?
It really is the most ridiculous football season in New York, John and Curtis, in a very long time. Aaron Rodgers wasn't very good yesterday, but Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills will do that to a lot of people, and I continue to say it. Aaron Rodgers is a shell of what he was years ago, when he won 4 regular season MVPs and a Super Bowl MVP with the Green Bay Packers. But on the list of issues with the Jets this season, Aaron Rodgers, for me, is almost at the bottom of the list. With that said, no, he's not that good anymore, but the Jets have much bigger issues. As for the Giants, look, Curtis, those guys get paid to play. The idea that guys go out there and lose games on purpose or drop footballs on purpose or fumble on purpose is stupid. They get paid to play. It was a stupid win. We didn't want to win yesterday. We want to lose every game to get the highest draft choice, but those guys get paid to play. Professional players don't tank football games or basketball games or baseball games. So leave it to the Giants to win a game where no Giant fan wanted them to win.
Let me take you back on the time machine. It was during the mayoral campaign. You were staying in Coney Island at John's great apartment buildings there right on the shore. And I was in Coney Island hitting the projects, and I said, Sid, you're not going to work. You're not taking the subway line in Coney Island, Stillwell. And we stopped by and we picked you up in the rain and we drove you all the way into the city. Knowing what you know now about Coney Island, Stillwell Avenue, can I go around and say that I saved your life, Sid?
Yeah, no, you definitely saved my life. Curtis, I knew it then, but it's ugly. Look, there's a lot of New Yorkers, John and Curtis, that are down here. I was actually really surprised at the amount of people at Mar-a-Lago on Saturday night that walked over and said, Sid, I listen every day. You guys are doing a great job, WABC. I mean, there was hundreds of people at Mar-a-Lago on Saturday night. Donald and Melania, Eric and Lara, Stallone, all these famous people, and a bunch, a lot of them walked over to me. They do listen, but a lot of the people said the same thing. What's going on in New York City? What's going on with the mayor? So, again, I did not have the opportunity to really get into it with President Trump.
Our city and our state.
I know that Eric Adams is doing a terrible job.
Our city and state are in bad shape.
Under siege.
We got to straighten it out, Sid.
They got to tweet it out?
No, I said we have to straighten it out because it's under siege and we're in tough shape and people refuse to go in the subways.
With your permission, John.
Yes.
Sid came with the Guardian Angels on patrol into Brownsville, East New York, when he first came back from Florida, when he first started doing the show. Do I have permission to take your number one morning guy who's number one in America?
Well, let me buy insurance first.
All right. Does Lloyd's of London sell a policy that would cover Sid? Sid, we got to go out when you come back, once you get Sid back, because I have never seen the subways so bad, Sid. And if there's one thing I'm an expert of, it's the subways. I've never seen it so bad.
You're telling me that, and you are the expert, 1970s. Even when Bernie Goetz was shooting people on the subway, you're telling me it's worse now?
Yes, because it's everywhere.
Right now, Bernie Goetz was one guy. But right now, we have a zillion guys down there. Yeah. More migrants, enough is enough.
John, you're right. No, listen, John, I think you and I did a lot to help President Trump do well in New York City and win. So I think we can say, and Curtis too, that we certainly help try to fix this country. But you're right, John. The onus is on all of us right now to help fix our city. You're not leaving. I'm not leaving. The weather's great in Florida, but I love New York. Curtis is not leaving. So all that stuff with Trump was great, but now it's time, John, for me, you, Curtis, and the rest of us to help fix New York City.
I know in your closet with all your fancy fashionista wear from Joseph Abboud and others that you have that red beret and red sateen jacket that we gave you for your honorary patrol. Get it out of mothballs, Sid. When you come back, you're coming on patrol with the Guardian Angels in the subway.
I can't wait. I still have it. It was February, Curtis, of 2016, and I know that because coming up next month, when I get back on WABC, January 27th, about a month away, will mark my 9-year anniversary. 9 years at WABC. When I returned in 2016, it was only 2.5 weeks after I made my debut on the air with my late, great partner, Bernard, God rest his soul, that I hit the subways with you. I am ready to do it again.
And don't forget, I'm going to give you guys a Rocky Colavito back to take with you.
Well, Sid, if you need to take a few more days because it's 81 degrees down in Florida at the beach, speaking on behalf of John Catsimatidis, I don't know if I have the right to do this. Stay a few more weeks. We got the morning show because, you want to be ready for January 20th for two reasons. Your anniversary and the turnaround happens at 2 o'clock that afternoon with the swearing in of our 47th president of the United States, the return of Donald Trump to the White House.
God has blessed us.
Sid and Joe Beningo have to straighten out the Jets and the Giants. Sooner the better.
Enjoy yourself, Sid. And again, Sid has won the prestigious award, Barrett Media Award for 2024 as the top talk show host in America, bar none. And there are hundreds out there. And he's earned it through hard work, by getting the ratings, and always being available to all of our listeners here as we substitute for him. And like I said, take a few more days, Sid. Take a few more weeks. We got it.
Bring some sunshine back when you come.
We got it. We got it. We're holding it down, Sid.
I know you guys got it, but on a serious note, I do want to wish you, John, and Margot, and Chad, I hope he's listening, and you, Curtis, and all of the people at WABC. We're very lucky. You've got an amazing station. You've got an amazing family. It's been a great 2024, and I really believe that 2025 will even be bigger and better with President Trump being inaugurated. Like Curtis just said, we'll be there coming up on January the 20th. I've got an Israel trip planned in April, all kinds of cool stuff. So 2025 will be huge, but a very happy new year to all of our great listeners and to you, John, for restoring normalcy and a semblance of law and order in New York City with our great station. God bless both you guys.
And tonight, I'll light the candle with the menorah with Rabbi Buttman. For you, too.
Thank you.
All right, Sid. Enjoy yourself. 81-degree weather. Just by Boca Raton. They're hitting the beaches.
Aventura, Macy's #1 store outside of New York. So you can sunshine and shop.
Oh, God. We're going to be stuck in rain. I don't know if it's going to rain tonight when you go up in the bucket, John. I'll be there. But, the people in Times Square, if it rains, they're not permitted to have umbrellas. You can't bring an umbrella once you get into that cow pen. Oh, man.
Are you predicting rain?
Yes.
The next.
How do you say? Oh, crap.
The next 3
days. Oh, my
days.
God.
Well, better get on your galoshes and your slicker, John Catsimatidis, as he lights the menorah tonight, right at 59th and 5th Avenue, starting at 6 o'clock. I'll be there. Come on out and wish the Jews a great Hanukkah as he lights another candle in solidarity.
And what are we going to do? We're going to take a break. Who do we come back with? We're going to come back with John McLaughlin and find out what the heck is going on with those polls.
Man, I'm ready to take him on, John McLaughlin, right here at your place to be, WABC.